taken out of context.
Taken out of context.
Taking things out of context.
Out of context.
Taken out of context.
Taken out of context.
In the context.
We have more context.
Out of context.
Taken out of context.
That is so out of context.
And take shit out of context.
Out of context.
Deeply out of context.
You're taking it out of context.
No, hey, hold on. So we're gonna flesh this out because I don't want nobody saying we don't take things in context.
Clipped me out of context.
It was out of context.
It's hard for your words to be taken out of context.
The full context.
In a modern day context.
Tell me the context.
Another important reminder as to why context is so important. So,
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Straight out of
Context. I'm Barbara Ann. Fair use disclaimer. First Amendment free speech disclaimer. By now, everybody has heard about the prescription pad. Yes, the infamous prescription pad. I'm here to break down part number 2 of my previous video regarding the prescription pad. But first, I'm going to show you that over on TikTok, Gypsy Rose Blanchard has been making videos from last year private and then making them public again. She has changed, reorganized, and revamped her social media pages once again. And first and foremost, the hypocrisy is so raw. This person says, unless they're just a plant, hey, so I believe I saw you today. I won't say where exactly, I'll just say Walmart. Buy the meat. There's only one Walmart in her area. You had your baby. I just really like to speak to you. We're so close. Guy, I can't message you. I'm trying to respect your privacy, especially with your baby. She says, yes, hi, Walmart was packed today. I'm like, let's get our chicken and let's get out of here. LOL. What a safety risk to Gypsy and her baby, right? As I showed in a previous video, in less than 2 clicks, you know exactly what Walmart she goes to frequently and what church she goes to events with and often attends. But she also posted this video of this guy with a cockroach saying that he does funny parody content and that she specifically requested he does this. But it left people that are fans and friends of Gypsy Rose to be really confused in the comment section about why. But before we get there, I want to remind you of this.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know what this is and like what this is all about, so in my documentary, Christy had talked about finding a prescription pad underneath my mom's bed when they went to go get some of like our stuff from the old Habitat house. So until now, it had never been photographed or seen in documentaries or anything. And so I recently came across it in a box of old photos. To my knowledge, it has never been used. I don't know. I mean, okay, so this is an update to my last video. Please do not zoom in on my gigantic blemish. Sorry, I had to start off that. So this is an update. I Googled where I could take the prescription pad to be disposed of, and Google said that I can deliver it to hand it over to a pharmacy. So a pharmacy is a little closer than a police station for me right now. So I'm gonna go and bring it. And I'm gonna record the whole thing. So let's go.
That's not exactly safe to have a baby in the back seat, because in the beginning of that video, yes, you can hear her recording while driving.
Thank you. So, I was going through a box of old photos, and this is like 15 years old. My mom had stole this from a hospital, and I wanted to turn it in. labeled, like I could bring it to a pharmacy. So
I'll shred it for you.
all right, thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.
That little wink and thumbs up is her signaling to her friends about Operation Cockroach. And this is her trying to play in everybody else's faces that she won, that she's not going to get in trouble for the prescription pad. And once again, fuck you all, because she's untouchable, especially for murder. Fancy from the Good Wives Network confronted Rod Blanchard, Gypsy's father, on a live panel on TikTok. And the host of this live panel was Ivory Rose Nose. Take a listen.
Can I ask you a question about the prescription pad?
What's that?
Can I ask you a question about the prescription pad that Christy says she found? Where did she find that prescription pad, and have you actually seen that prescription pad?
Absolutely. I was there with her. Myself.
Okay, and where was it when you found it, Rod?
In the bedroom somewhere.
It was in the bedroom. Okay. Now, here's the thing about that. What I can tell you is that Christy actually gave me the book from inside Dee Dee's home, which showed all the records of her picking up every single medication for her and Gypsy for several years. They weren't using several different pharmacies, and all the things that Gypsy was prescribed at the time, I do believe was medically necessary.
So you're telling me that Gypsy Rose Blanchard is in possession of a stolen prescription pad, that Christy Blanchard did not show or use it, even though she was in possession of it for 8.5 years that Gypsy was locked up, in Gypsy's Revenge or Mommy Dead and Dearest or any other documentary or interview that she did in 2015, 16, 17, and 18? And first of all, looking at some of these pictures, looking at some of the tissue, what is that? Is that a Walgreens prescription bag that prescriptions come in? Why wouldn't this evidence have been seized by the sheriff's department, by investigators? Why didn't Christy turn this or the medications and all of that in? Unless Christy was purposely protecting Gypsy. But a bigger question is all of these pictures that are clearly from their life in the first 14 years of Gypsy's life in Louisiana begs the question that, of course, their apartment, you've seen photographs of their apartment, truly was destroyed in Hurricane Katrina, but they were able to save all their pictures. But she just wants to put that narrative out there and to let you know that, of course, she didn't like The Life of a Showgirl, but now she likes Elizabeth Taylor from The Life of a Showgirl. And then she wants you to believe that she's so relatable, but yeah, no, not relatable. A lot of people bend over backwards in their life to take care of their mothers when they're older and sick and disabled. They don't take their lives because they're an inconvenience. You want your daughter, Aurora, to grow up and treat you like that? I hope she makes the right decision and just leaves at 18. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Because not all good, decent human beings manipulate men into financially providing for them, so they don't have to do anything. Good, decent women don't have it in them to use, abuse, cause trauma, discard, and dispose of people. Men, husbands, boyfriends, multiple different fiancés. There's nothing relatable about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Nobody can even relate to the corruption that got her a sweetheart plea deal for first-degree premeditated homicide. But this actually poses a lot more questions than it does provide answers to questions. The fact that Christy has been in possession of this all of these years, all of these pictures, saved them, waited till she got out of prison, and then takes all of these pictures and gives them to Gypsy, and knew that these prescription bags and this pad was in there. How do we know that Gypsy didn't steal it? She self-admitted at 18 and 19 that she was stealing her mother's prescriptions. How do we know she didn't steal it and put it under her thigh in the wheelchair, thinking she was going to forge a prescription? Because if Dee Dee did, we would have the report on that. A pharmacist would have turned that in, right? Oh, and you can't forget that the Hurricane Katrina thing was all just a lie that her mom made up, remember? Well, this is her newest story about Hurricane Katrina, and that it was just a lie her mother sold to doctors and the public. and even lied to her own sisters. Look at the nice, pristine condition that this is in, considering it's supposed to be, over 15 years old? And yes, their apartment truly was devastated by severe water damage in Hurricane Katrina, and yes, they were evacuated. We have these photos to prove photos probably wouldn't have made it, even if they were in bins. They would have been presumably severely waterlogged, damaged. But of course, they didn't steal this until after they were relocated to Missouri from Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina. Whether it was her or her mom, either which way, she's in possession of it. And her stepmother was for the last 10 years.
Two things, Gypsy, I wanted to say earlier, I was listening. If you wanted to, you could take that pad and take a pen and put a big old huge X on each sheet and throw it away. But me personally, after these threats made, I'm too stubborn. I'd have it right in my hand and say, bitch, come for me. And secondly, there's some people in the comments that want to know if you're okay discussing all of these things, or does it trigger you?
And I personally, like with the prescription pad, when I found it day before yesterday, I was kind of like, oh wow, like I was kind of like, I heard about it, but to like see it, and then a little while later I just started like processing, and then I just got angry, and that's when I made the video that I posted. And so like I apologize to like anybody in the medical field. Like, I'm sorry if I come across or I came across as like rude or definitely like accusing, but I'm like processing right now. And like my sister's in the medical field, and when I knew that she was training to become a nurse and everything, I told Christy, I'm like, you know, I think Mia's gonna be the only nurse that I like. Because it's like for a long time I've had like this resentment towards doctors and nurses. When I was in prison, I didn't even like go up to medical very often unless I absolutely needed to. Like I had an upper respiratory infection, or I had to get a pap smear or something like that. Or unless like I was called for a routine checkup or whatever. So looking at it, I'm just going through the emotions, because it's like whenever I open a box from the past, it's literally like a time capsule. And it's taking me back to that time. I don't enjoy it. Like I stayed up until midnight that night. Usually I go to bed about 7. And I'm like, Ken was like, are you coming to bed? I was like, no, I don't want to do this more than once. So I'm going to get it done tonight. So yes, it is triggering. And that's why I don't like looking at stuff like that. I leave the past in the past for a reason. I'm not worried about the threats and, you know, people calling the cops on me. Like, I didn't steal it. So, and it's a 10, 15, 20-year-old prescription pad. Like, it's just a piece of paper now. Like, but you're right, Sheena. Like, I probably will just mark an X on it, flush it. Like, I think flushing is probably a good idea.
Shred it. That's what I've seen somebody say, shred it.
Like, shred it, flush it.
Don't flush it. You're going to need a plumber if you do that. Burn it.
Like, let's disagree.
A piece of evidence.
You should write all these people some psych meds.
Evidence.
Mail it to Fancy.
I think you should write 10 individuals some psych meds.
Becca would probably give you money for it.
No, I'm going to do the responsible thing, guys.
I wouldn't get rid of it because I'm too stubborn. I'd be like, come for me, bitch. It's right here in my hand. You know?
Oh, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid.
I know. Hospitals use
that's just what I would do, is what I'm saying.
Can I take it in my possession, Gypsy? I'll go get it tomorrow. Can I take it into my possession?
Why are you asking me on a live right now, Rose?
No, send it to Fancy. We're going to set up Fancy. Get that She's wanted, now she's going to have a felony, like they call it.
I'm already a felon.
He's already
We're
is a
going to
felon.
be getting Reggie bonded out. He's going to go around Becca Scoops and don't give him that pad.
Don't give it to Becca.
No, you need to sign it and say, I know you've been longing for this, Fancy. Love, Gypsy.
Don't you have it around Becca Scoops, damn it.
I know. God. Becca's going to be...
Send me an
We
autograph.
gotta be responsible, guys.
Oh, you could sell autographs on it. That was good, Ray.
I think that was a trigger. Man, when you posted them, man, Becca was like the good old days.
Oh my God.
Remember when?
Remember when?
She was probably like, girl, don't throw that away. You know what I could do with that?
Fair use disclaimer under the Copyright Act, since this is in the public domain, but credit to Lati over on TikTok solely for education, entertainment, and research purposes. In the broader context of my reaction and my commentary.
Yeah,
I could be twice removed. I could be twice removed, nurse.
Writing them scripts in November.
I'm gonna use it as toilet paper.
Where's my slides? I'll put them in Becca Scoop's purse. Who is that? That's that woman that's not even a nurse. Becca has twice as many viewers. Oh, I don't give a fuck. You think I care? That's like, I'm actually
She has twice as many
for
psych
people.
problems.
She's literally... Oh, my Lord. Yeah, you know what? I wish she would have never said that. She has twice as many viewers, which means that there's that many dumb people in the world.
Gypsy Blanchard once found out from documentary producers that Gypsy had tried to take the life of her mother before via a high-velocity airsoft or BB gun. And she said, you know what? Good for her. She did say that there was things she wanted to tell me and her dad in person that you guys probably know that we don't know, but good for her. But this is the same evil stepmother who complained about not getting money or being able to sue Hulu for the act, which was dramatized. Also brought Bree into her and Gypsy's life and talked shit about Bree, insinuating here that she doesn't tell her anything because she knows she has a big mouth and can't keep anything private. And I don't know who did this picture. This has got to be AI or somebody else's child. But from my understanding, Christy has leaked real photographs of baby Aurora. And don't forget, the day after Gypsy Rose Blanchard was found by investigators, Christy was interviewed via phone privately, where she told investigators that Gypsy is very smart. Do not let her fool you. If you ask me, Christy Blanchard is only placating Gypsy when it's to make their family look good, to make themselves money, as one commenter said, to protect their bottom line. Because if there's anything Christy is going to do, she's going to maintain her marriage to Rod, no matter what, no matter how much he cheats on her. So her placating, liking Gypsy is just her trying to hold on to her marriage. But what it doesn't explain is how for 24 years they blame everything on Dee Dee, when it would be their intentional neglect that would have truly been the cause of the way that Gypsy claims she lived. But they knew she could always walk and that it was a scam and a lie, that she was in a wheelchair and pretending to be sicker. They said Dee Dee was a perfect Southern wife and mother, and she took really good care of Gypsy. I think personally, Rod just didn't want the problem and the hassle of having to physically take care of any other children. Some men are able to emotionally detach easier from children, their own children, especially when they have moved on, remarried, and had new children with their new partner or wife. Women, of course, can do this as well, but men do this at a much higher rate statistically. If he wanted to be in his children's lives, he would have been there every day for Gypsy and Nicolette, instead of going and dipping his stick, spreading his seed all over Louisiana, more worried about being horny and satisfying his sexual urges than being a stable father and provider to his children. But hey, just let everything get blamed on the dead woman. So very convenient for them. Becca Scoops did a really great video, and I want you to take a look at these two clips I actually have this same exact live and full that I did commentary and reaction on. But Becca Scoops did a really great breakdown and was able to pull these little clips, the little pieces that were necessary for this prescription pad video, seeing as Gypsy Rose is the one who brought all of this up. So I really want you to take a look and then definitely go watch her video in full if you haven't already. Take a listen.
The story has never changed because it doesn't need to change when it's the truth. Okay. So we and Dee Dee and Gypsy's house, Gypsy had access to get the pictures. Big thing of pictures that was under her mama's bed. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab the pictures. Y'all, I put my hand under the bed. The first thing my hand went in was cat shit. Was I happy about that? No.
But did you report it? Like,
yes.
Why have we never seen this?
I did report it.
Did you take a picture?
I'm getting to that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So, of course, I went wash my hands, and because nobody really knows, there was still a cat in the house when we went. Neighbor had to come get one of the cats out.
Oh, no.
Because there was, yeah. So when I went to grab underneath the bed the second time.
Just a sidebar here. So obviously Gypsy did leave one poor little kitty in that house that whole time. I hope there was food and water for it because it was there for 4 days before anyone turned up there. Just so you guys know, she did leave an animal in the house with her dead mother.
Now, here's my question on this. So there was a cat or both cats inside the house. My question is, how long was it from the time that forensic investigators and law enforcement officials were in that house bagging and tagging all of the evidence and the time that Rod and Christy were cleared to go into the house? Because that would mean the cat was in there during that time, not just from the time that Gypsy committed her murder and the time that they founded the body and the evidence, but that animal control or the Humane Society was not contacted by officials and it was still left in the house, or did they not know about the cat in the house? Was it hiding somewhere? Because that would mean that one of the cats either got back in or had been there the entire time from the time they did all of the evidence bagging and tagging and all the way to whatever day it was that Christy and Rod were cleared to go into the house to collect said photos and find said prescription pad. What I'm curious about is what was the date that Rod and Christy first went into the house, or that they were allowed to go and collect things after forensic investigators and law enforcement were done. Because the whole thing with Gypsy putting both of the cats outside, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't that come from The Act, a dramatized show? That would also explain why in crime scene photos of the bathroom and toilet, the litter box was right next to the toilet, and in the bottom of the toilet, you can see litter, meaning that from the time somebody last flushed that toilet, an alive person was actually in the house. And the time that forensic investigators are taking photos of the crime scene, said cat had been using the litter box and jumping up onto the toilet seat where some of the litter transferred from the box and their paws down into the bottom of the toilet. Here, you know what? I'm just going to show you. See the litter box next to the toilet? Presumably, the last person to use that toilet flushed it, but look at the bottom of it. You see kitty litter. That would suggest for days a cat was inside the house, if not both, using that litter box, and that they jumped on top of the toilet to get out or away from the box. And per usual for cats, some of the litter transferred from their paws down to the bottom of the toilet. And because Dee Dee Blanchard was heinously and brutally murdered, she, of course, wasn't alive to flush it. And neither was Gypsy there because she ran off. Same way she doesn't use a toothbrush, and she had all these colored contacts. Same way she was able to have sex with Nicholas Godejohn not once, but twice in the 3 to 3.5 hours after they killed her mother. She had different glasses for different costumes, and she had tons of different wigs. In fact, her side of the bed was just as dirty as her mom's side, which begs the question, why does a 24-year-old grown woman need to be told to stop sucking on a bubba? Why does a 24-year-old grown woman need to be taught how to cook or taught how to clean? Not just her house, her living room, her kitchen, help with her mother. She knew how to clean up blood after she got somebody else to help her with her crime. She certainly looked up different things on the internet even after the crime, looking up her mom, herself missing. She knew how to use bleach on carpets to get out blood, paper towels, and cold water, but she didn't know how to clean a house. She didn't know how to open up a toothbrush and brush her teeth. She didn't know how to stop sucking a baby bottle, a bubba, or a ninny. She had to have mommy tell her at 24 years old. I don't believe it. I also don't and never have bought that bullshit narrative, but I've gone over the Blanchard pets before. Now, first, let's continue on with what Christy had to say.
Was she not thinking of what could happen? I mean,
I was like, what is this? It was a small little pad, and I pulled it out, and I said, holy shit. And
was there anything written on it?
It looked like it was a fairly new pad, but you could see that some prescriptions were.
What do you think she was right?
If she truly had Munchausen by proxy, the visits wouldn't have lessened.
But do you know the reason? One of the reasons why is because you saw that prescription pad.
A prescription pad that they have no proof whatsoever was ever used. In fact, quite the opposite. Had that been used, there is no doubt a pharmacist would have caught it immediately. And that would have been turned over to the police, where there would have at least been a report, if not charges. Because Dee Dee would have presumably knew that, not being a doctor, she doesn't know how to write a prescription. Gypsy is the only person that I can see being ignorant enough to steal a prescription pad and then not understand that doctors write in a certain way. Because not only are prescriptions sometimes written in Latin, because a lot of medical terms derive from Latin, so there is a lot of Latin abbreviations in medicine. Gypsy wouldn't have understood that, but I'm sure her mom would have, right? And especially not having a doctor or his actual number, or being a nurse practitioner under a doctor's number. Clearly, that pad would mean absolutely nothing. It would be null and void, but maybe not to somebody like Gypsy, who didn't know how to use it, and it would make more logical sense. She steals because she has a compulsion to steal. But Christy, still trying to cover for Gypsy? Why? Because you can tell that Christy doesn't like her and doesn't trust her. Hello, good morning, everybody. It's been 2 years and 2 months for me, but there's still things to go over. Because Gypsy Rose Blanchard just doesn't ever stop talking.
Prescription pad?
What's that?
Can I ask you a question about the prescription pad that Christy says she found? Where did she find that prescription pad, and have you actually seen that prescription pad?
Absolutely, I was there with her. Myself.
Okay, and where was it when you found it, Rod?
In the bedroom somewhere.
In the bedroom. Okay.
The story has never changed because it doesn't need to change when it's the truth. Okay, so we and Dee Dee and Gypsy's house, Gypsy had access to get the pictures. Big thing of pictures that was under her mama's bed. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab the pictures, y'all. I put my hand under the bed. The first thing my hand went in was cat shit. Was I happy about that? No.
But did you report it? Like,
yes.
Why have we never seen this?
I did report it.
Did you take a picture?
I'm getting to that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So, of course, I went wash my hands, and because nobody...
Okay, let's get into it. Long story short, Christy Blanchard has always claimed that Dee Dee's bed, this is Dee Dee's side, Gypsy said that was her side where she slept. Christy says that when she went back to the house with Rod to collect Gypsy's things, after she had been arrested, after the crime happened, that she stuck her hand under the bed and she happened to get a handful of some kind of poo. But that's when she found said prescription pad. As you can see in crime scene photos, Dee Dee Blanchard had a foam mattress topper. And then under that, she had a mattress. There is no box spring. There is no bed frame that is solid underneath that like plywood. There are little wooden slates. There is nothing under that mattress that you can stick your hand under and find something. Because all you're going to find is a bunch of holes and really thin fur strip slates that mattress is sitting on. As you can see right here, mattress topper. In the crime scene photos, you can clearly see they take the topper and everything off of the mattress and they bag and tag all of that. as everybody has seen. She had a mattress cover, then she had an actual mattress foam topper, and then the mattress, but there's no box spring and there is no solid foundation of this bed. So underneath the mattress, there isn't anything but little itty bitty slates. And yet nowhere do we see in this process of them taking all of this as evidence. Now, yeah, there's some medical bags, some of Gypsy's medical supplies. There's a binder over there that looks like it has papers, but that's not uncommon in their household. But you see the sides of the bed frame that connect the head and the footboard. But you see that white thing? That's just a mattress. In fact, you can see underneath the foam topper and the mattress, there's a clear, visible line all the way down. Why? Because there is nothing solid underneath there to put your hand under. Now, there is things under the bed, however. You can clearly see the things under the bed. In multiple different crime scene photos, you can see that there is no foundation underneath that mattress. It has just wooden, little itty bitty wooden slates. And it doesn't even look like it has enough of them. Another really good photo showing the little wooden slates that are very thin. Right there, look at the corner down. There is no big piece of plywood. There is no box spring. It's just little itty bitty fur strips that are slated across with all these holes that provide the foundation for the mattress. As you can see, this is Gypsy's side, and there was money in that drawer. That must have been a $2 bill or something special for it to be in a plastic thing like that. But again, as you can see on Gypsy's side of the bed, but wait, it gets better. You see that tag that says 64 down there, that little cone? More. As you can see, they did a very thorough job. Of course, they're not going to go through probably all of those bags of clothes and whatnot. Foam mattress topper, mattress. Right here, you can see there is no bottom foundation and there is no box spring. It's just one of those bed frames that has little slates, and that is what holds the mattress. But remember that little cone 64? Yeah, this is on Gypsy's side of her, in her mom's bed, according to what she's said. There's all these boxes. What's in all of these boxes? A whole bunch of info and biography sheets on Gypsy Rose. Duh, she was a local celebrity. A heating pad, which is typical for people with chronic pain or disability. Back issues, scoliosis. But then looking in those boxes, there's clearly, pictures and other things. But the one thing I'm not seeing is cat doo-doo. The cat litter box was next to the toilet. And you can tell that a cat had been left there for a couple days because at the bottom of the toilet is kitty litter, where the cat probably hopped up on top of the toilet during those 4 or 5 days. Because any cat owner knows that they can be kind of messy, especially with litter. So I'm not seeing any kind of animal feces anywhere around this bed. I mean, forensic investigators would have found that right away, but all of these things under this bed is actually on Gypsy's side of her mom's bed, according to what she's told everybody. Is it possible that Gypsy is the one that stole it, or Christy is just lying and she doesn't really remember where she found the prescription pad? It would have been more likely to have been somewhere in this area with all of the medical documents in the filing cabinet where she had kept track of everything, because Gypsy Rose was not perfectly healthy. She was not born, quote unquote, normal. This is clearly stuff that they recorded, but are they going to take every sheet of paper? Probably not, because that would be too much time and that would be not pertaining or relevant to the homicide. But you know whose bed did have a foundation underneath it and who did have a whole bunch of stuff around her bed and under her bed too? Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And we know that her and Nicholas Godejohn did the deed on that bed. It looks like more than once, actually. And they were there at the house between 2:30 and 5:30 for about 3.5 hours before they left. So that was plenty of time to do it, not once, twice. So can anybody actually trust that it was found where she said she found it? Rod couldn't even really remember. He just thinks it was in the bedroom somewhere. That's like saying she's perfectly healthy and wasn't born sick, yet she's got EpiPens. Dee Dee Blanchard had her insulin and Gypsy had this, erythromycin, which can be used for multiple things, but it is used to treat certain STDs. And we know in the medicine cabinet that she also had an antiviral that is often used for herpes. But looking at Gypsy's bed, look at those adult books that are on her stand over there. She was reading at that level, like Harry Potter, 50 Shades of Grey, as you can see. But look at here in Gypsy's room. She has binders and binders and binders full of pictures and papers. All kinds of wigs and clothes. Her obsession with Aurora. But let's talk about her not eating, because there's clearly cereal or oatmeal here. Food, Pepsi, Kool-Aid, milk, all kinds of leftovers. Food. Crackers, bananas, Jell-O. Iced almond cookies. But sure, let's not talk about Gypsy's side of the bed, where she admits that she slept. That's just like her whole shed story. While this girl is over here with multiple different wigs, all these different types of glasses, saying that her mom did the laundry the night before and that the Barney was washed, that's a lie, because you see that little arm? That is a Minnie Mouse stuffed animal in this washer. She did not wash, dry, and bring the clothes into her room and fold them and put them away, and that's how the Barney got there. Gypsy is full of shit, and Gypsy is lying. That is a Minnie Mouse doll with all of Gypsy's clothes. And that's the stuff in the dryer. Clearly, they left it there. Meaning Gypsy lied when she said the Barney had been washed and everything had been, washed, dried, folded, and put away. Oh, look at that. More food. More Pepsi. More cereal, food. Chocolate milk. So Gypsy has lied from everything, from that prescription pad all the way to the Barney, which clearly was because she had some kind of attachment to that stupid purple dinosaur. Hey Gypsy, do you remember that Barney song? I like to eat apples and bananas. Except for in her case, she likes to mommies and mothers. And yet, looking at Dee Dee's side of the bed, we see one little box over there, but a whole bunch of medical supplies, movies, a garbage can, and one small singular box. But the majority of boxes were on Gypsy's side.
If you want to take that out of context, go right ahead.
Sorry that you fell in love with a piece of shit like me.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Please like and share. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button. God bless you all, and happy Thanksgiving to you.